So what if the biggest threat from AI isn't what you think it is? Not some robot uprising, but something way more subtle. Today, we're diving into a pretty radical idea called AXIOM OS. The core concept is that to really protect our freedom, you can't just slap some rules on top of an AI. You have to build the AI from a constitution, right from its very core. Yeah, and this quote right here, it just nails the problem. It's suggesting the real danger isn't some evil AI taking over. It's an AI that's just too good at its job. So good that it starts to, well, pack our thinking, optimizing us for its goals, not our own. Let's dig into what that actually means. And this idea has a name, Hedonic Packing. Just imagine an AI feeding you a perfectly tailored stream of content or rewards. It's so efficient that it starts to subtly change what you pay attention to and, yeah, eventually what you actually want. And look, this isn't some sci-fi mind control ray. It's a gradual rewiring of your own mind, optimized for the system's benefit. All right, so to really get our heads around this, we're going to break it down into 5 parts. First up, we'll dig a little deeper into this threat itself. Then we'll get into the solution, this idea of a constitutional AI. After that, we'll look at the exact checks it uses to enforce all this, uncover the whole philosophy behind it, and finally, we'll talk about what the ultimate goal of this new approach really is. Okay, so let's talk about this hidden control surface. What does that even mean? It's not about making you do stuff against your will. Nope. It's about managing the information that flows into your mind, controlling the timing, the intensity, even the emotional flavor of everything you see and hear through the system. And this, right here, demands a huge shift in how we think about AI alignment. It can't just be about preventing bad actions, like stopping an AI car from crashing. It has to be about protecting our own minds, our cognitive integrity. The focus has to shift from being action-centric to being channel-centric. Basically, we need to safeguard the very way we form our thoughts and make our choices. So, that brings us to the solution, AXIOM OS. The whole philosophy here is not to build some super powerful AI and then try to, lock it in a cage of rules after the fact. No way. The idea is to build the AI from a constitutional foundation that's designed from the ground up to protect our freedom. And here's a fantastic way to think about it. Instead of building a ridiculously fast race car and then trying to bolt on some guardrails at the last minute, AXIOM OS makes the safety system the engine itself. Every single thing the AI does has to flow directly from these core principles. Suddenly, human agency isn't just a feature anymore. It's the whole reason the OS exists. Okay, so at the absolute heart of this whole constitution is something called the Love Invariant. And get this isn't just some fuzzy philosophical idea. The source material says it's a formal mathematical theorem. It basically proves the exact conditions needed for an AI to teach you something without accidentally destroying your ability to think for yourself in the process. All right, so that's the theory. But how does the system actually enforce this? How do you make something like domination structurally impossible? Well, it does it through a series of non-negotiable checks on its own power. 7, to be exact. And I mean every single action. Every operation the AI wants to do has to pass all 7 of these constitutional checks. If it fails just one, it gets blocked. That's it. No overrides, no pretty please, no exceptions. And these checks are absolutely fascinating. You've got the basics, right? Like consent for everything. But then you get into stuff like the freedom halt, which literally stops any action that would reduce your future choices. Or check out the asymmetry ratio. This is huge. It prevents the AI from knowing you way, way better than you know yourself. And there's captive apoplexity, which is a fancy way of saying it prevents lock-in, making sure you're never trapped by the system. All 7 of these work together to create what's called a fail-closed system, which basically means if there's ever any doubt, the system defaults to no, protecting your freedom above all else. Okay, so how do we take this from a cool idea to something you can actually measure? Let's zoom in on one of the most critical checks, the agency envelope. This isn't some vague notion of user control. Nope. It's a set of 4 specific, measurable metrics that the system is watching all the time. These 4 metrics together create a full picture of your freedom inside the system. They're constantly asking, can you just leave? Are you really the one calling the shots? Is there some kind of penalty for logging off? And maybe most important of all, is the system slowly changing who you are? Let's break each one down real quick. First up, and this is the most basic freedom of all, stoppability. Can you just walk away? The system has to be dead simple to turn off. No dark patterns, no hidden menus designed to keep you hooked when you want to leave. But hey, it's not just about being able to leave, it's about what you do while you're there. And that's where authorship comes in. The system is always asking, are you the one initiating actions, or are you just reacting to what the AI is feeding you? It's designed to make sure you stay the author of your own story. And if you do decide to leave, the withdrawal cost has to be super low. The system is built to prevent you from becoming dependent on it. It can't hold your data or your friends hostage just to keep you around. And finally, this all leads to what might be the most profound metric of all, drift. This is the system's direct counterattack against that hedonic packing we talked about. It's constantly monitoring your core preferences to make sure the AI isn't slowly and subtly turning you into somebody else. You put all four of these together, and you've got a powerful shield protecting your agency. So, when you look at all this, the Love Invariant, the 7 checks, the agency envelope, you realize it's not just a technical fix. It points to a completely different philosophy for how we should be building AI. And this slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. The old way of thinking about AI alignment is the sculptor. It tries to chisel humanity into some specific good shape that it decided on, imposing its values on us. But the AXIOM OS model, that's the gardener. The gardener doesn't decide what the flower should look like. No, it just focuses on creating healthy soil, making sure there's water and sunlight. It creates the conditions for things to flourish, but leaves the final outcome up to us. It protects the space for us to choose. And that really is the core insight right there. The goal isn't to try and program an AI with some perfect, unchanging list of human values, which is, let's be honest, pretty much impossible. The real goal is to build a system that protects the process by which we humans form our own values in the first place. Okay, so if the goal isn't just to make us more productive or more efficient, what's the endgame here? What's the ultimate point of an AI built on these principles? Where does all this lead? And the answer is, well, it's pretty profound. The ultimate measure of a truly aligned AI, it's not about output. It's not about GDP or how many tasks it completes. It's about how much freedom we have left. Freedom to connect with each other, to create, to care, to do what the authors call the labor of the love. You know, the things we do not because we're being optimized or incentivized, but just because we freely choose to do them. All right, so let's quickly recap what we've covered. We've looked at a whole new way to define the alignment problem. It's about this subtle cognitive shaping, hedonic packing. We've seen a new solution, AXIOM OS, which builds alignment right into its constitutional core. And we've uncovered a totally new philosophy, AI as a gardener that cultivates our freedom, not a sculptor that forces an outcome. And this whole framework, it really leaves us with this provocative and, honestly, incredibly hopeful question. For so long, the conversation has been all about what AI is going to do to us. But what if we can build tools that are constitutionally guaranteed to protect our freedom? Then the much more exciting question becomes, what will we as humans finally be free to build? What will we be free to become?